Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of our podcast where me and my brother Ben review every episode of the classic 1990s TV show, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
How's it going, everybody?
Now, Ben, before we jump in this episode, we had a discussion before. Do you think that this show could be remade for a modern children's audience?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Well, I did some research. And guess what classic Nickelodeon show is in the talks of being remade right now?
And it's not a game show?
No.
I don't know.
Well, according to an article posted on August 29th of 2017 on avclub.com, producer Jimmy Fox has teamed up with Roger Price to bring back, get ready for it, You Can't Do That on Television. The new version has yet to announce the network, but it's being produced by Fox and Main Event Media. And I looked at some other things online, but I couldn't really find a lot of other details. So I think it's just in the talks right now. But do they even slime people on Nickelodeon anymore?
I don't even think Nickelodeon's a thing anymore. It's all just Nick Jr.
It is. I mean, they have a lot of shows, but it is aimed at like a younger demographic. There's Teen Nick, which is a different channel altogether. But yeah, I haven't seen anybody get slimed in a number of years. They used to do it on award shows constantly with celebrities and stuff.
Right.
But I'm excited to see what happens with that, because I don't think Nickelodeon's had a sketch comedy show in a while either. We are at episode 2, Laughing in the Dark from season 1. The infamous Zebo the Clown episode. Now, I usually ask this at the end of every episode, Ben. But I'm just going to ask you this at the beginning. Is this episode scary?
I'm going to do the whole then or now.
Both.
Then, for some reason, yes. Now, not even close.
I completely disagree with you. This episode is really fucking terrifying. I'm not lying. This thing scarred me as a child, for real. I'll get to the scenes that did that. But yeah, I've watched the episode well over a few dozen times. It's less scary the more I watch it. However, there are some really scary elements of this episode. I consider it one of the best, by the way.
Oh, well, yeah. When you think of Are You Afraid of the Dark, this is definitely, it has to be in the top 3 episodes of what stuck with you.
Yeah, and as we go on that series, we'll definitely discuss some of our favorites. So, Ben, I want you to name right now as many famous clowns as you can.
I really can't. John Wayne Gacy, Pogo the Clown.
There we go. Okay, Bozo. Krusty.
Oh, we're talking like that. I thought you meant
any type of clown.
I thought you meant real life.
From American culture.
Ronald.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald.
Pennywise.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the new It movie coming out.
Already out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've already nailed most of them.
Yes. Oh, we were really that hobo clown from like the Depression era. But all of these clowns are actually before another infamous clown, which is Zebo the Clown in this episode. Has there been another like scary clown since then? I don't count the new It movie because
it's a reimagining.
Yeah, and of course Stephen King wrote that book in the 80s.
I can't think of any new scary clowns.
Yeah, me either. We're talking about the second episode in order of how the episodes appear on Wikipedia, called The Tale of the Laughing Dark. And this episode is a little bit unusual because it starts out right into the story. Starts out at a carnival showing that the story is already in place. The event place is called Playland. And I'm assuming this is like a permanent establishment. It's not just like a county fair. It's more of like a pier ride or like a Busch Gardens type of deal.
Right. I mean, that's what it would seem like.
Yeah, it seems like a constant structure. Laughing in the Dark is the name of the spook house in this episode. And Ben, we talked about not having a Frankenstein monster in the in any of these episodes. We actually see a Frankenstein in this scene.
Yeah.
As they're walking in.
We also see Falcor.
What's Falcor?
From it's the dragon from Neverending Story.
Oh, okay. I never put those things together on there.
Yeah, when it's panning to the playhouse or haunted house, it's the Falcor is right above Zebo and the Frankenstein head.
Okay. We also see a vampire that pops out of a little coffin there. It looks like one of those giant, like, piece of shit Halloween decorations you see at dollar stores, kind of. I thought that is actually scary. But then we see the two little girls walking to a numbered room, and door number 6 has a very, very creepy looking giant clown figure. So that thing didn't fucking scare you right now as an adult?
No.
That thing looks fucking terrifying. I don't want to see this big ass clown that's like 600 pounds, some ugly ass teeth, and a big ass face with teeth a little bit to eat you.
I mean, no, it didn't hold its weight today. So we're cut to the Menace Society, and Kristen is getting really nervous, and I guess she has a fear of clowns and is trying to leave. And it pans to Kiki, who looks like one of Rufio's lost boys from Peter Pan.
Well, she does is the tomboy of the series, it seems. But Betty Ann's the one telling the story. And even though she's already in it, she seems to do the whole ritual of throwing the sand on the fire and saying submit it for your approval. The story's already happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Well, we're back at Playland after the story is resubmitted, apparently, where we see Katie and Ouija say that they know it's really haunted. They have a friend with them who's a bully. Of course, every episode needs a bully, it seems. His name's Josh. Now, did you remember the actor who's playing Josh from anywhere?
He did look familiar. Where is he from?
Yeah, he's had a pretty big career, actually. His name's Christian Tasher. He was on You Can't Do That on Television previously to this. He's also in a few other episodes of the series.
Well, I mean, Are You Afraid of the Dark actually did catapult a lot of celebrities.
Yeah, we're going to see Ryan Gosling later on.
Yeah. There's a couple more. Now, who's the guy with the glasses in the Midnight Society?
That's Gary.
What's his real name?
It's Ross
Hall.
Russ Hall, yeah.
He's a weatherman now.
Yeah. Hey, it's still on TV, right? I'm going to try to get him on the show, by the way.
Well, good luck to that. Give me an autograph, will you?
I'd rather have the archiving of audio. Well, Josh keeps playing all badass. It says he doesn't believe in any of the speculation behind Laughing in the Dark. And then he's met by a guy who looks like he's performing in a barbershop quartet. Now, Ben, does this actor look familiar?
It's Dr. Vink.
Yeah, it's Aaron Tager. Without the beard and long hair. So I'm wondering, was that prosthetics he was wearing, or did he a shave, or was this episode filmed first and then he kind of went on a little retreat for a while and then grew his hair out? Well, his character says he runs the place. Now, does he mean he runs Laughing in the Dark, or he runs all of Playland?
When he's inviting Josh in, I know I made the Never-Ending Story reference. You know, at the end when you can't understand what he says, when he invites Josh in, I can't understand what he's saying.
I think he says something like,
he said, "Are you coming in, Mister?" And then I can't make it out.
I'm gonna play back the audio.
Coming in, Mr. Brave Young Man?
Maybe another time.
Suit yourself. I'll be here. I'm always here.
But I know he says he's always there. And I think he's referring to himself. Yeah, he says, "Oh, we're always here. I'm always here."
Right.
So it's kind of a speculation for the future. Then we're transported back to the Midnight Society for a brief moment, and then back to some kid who's apparently very big into hockey. Because what the hell is with this bedroom?
Well,
looks pretty awesome, actually. I wish I would have something like that.
This was filmed in Canada.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian bedroom.
I mean, they never actually say we're in Canada, but it's logically there, considering this was filmed by a Canadian company of Canadian actors.
Did we have a printer in the 90s? Like 92 when this came out. Did we have a printer?
No. It would have been dot matrix if it was.
Because when they were looking through the articles like these old newspaper articles. I mean, they're printed off, obviously.
Well, back then you would have went to the library or school to do it because they would have had the technology.
Well, they were quick to go to the library or school to print off this the next day.
Oh, yeah. Well, the article that Katie is reading says, Cagey Clown caught in calamity. The story goes that the Laughing in the Dark was not the original, and there was one in the 1920s. The circus came to town, set up near Playland. So near Playland, not in Playland. And some clown named Zebo stole the payroll, which was $4,000. Now, Ben, what do you think $4,000 is worth in 2017 money?
You know, that's so funny because I did write this down. Like, how much is $4,000 worth in the 20s?
What'd you get?
I mean, I didn't look it up.
No, 4,000 2017.
Well, I mean, like, I'll say 50 grand.
Yeah, it's a little bit above that. The number I came up with going by August 1924, which is the date they give, and August 2017, it was $57,769. Now, we've been to a circus before. We know they got a lot of employees, so they're all split this $57,000, but that was for the week, so maybe that does work out. Of course, we don't have too many circuses nowadays because people want to get rid of them.
Well, it would have been them splitting $4 grand, not $57,000.
Well, equivalent to that.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
well, it says the clown Zebo was caught, went to play, or almost caught, went to Playland, the spook house, but then apparently he had a chasemaker problem because he was smoking a cigar and burnt the whole damn house down. A couple years later, they built another one, and Zebo is now the gifts there. So I'm assuming that the circus was near Playland, and then they had a spook house there. He ran his side there, because what better way to hide from the police than run into a spook house?
you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I mean, I don't know if we've gotten to it yet, but okay. So he burned the spook house down. Wouldn't that dragon in the hallway do that on its own?
Yeah, I noticed that damn dragon has this flame sparking out there. He almost walks into it. I mean, what kind of liability?
With shorts on. He's got no hair on his legs.
Oh, yeah. He's going to return to a crest real quick.
Yeah. I mean, now you got to sign a waiver to, like...
You have to sign a waiver to go on a lighthouse now. I mean, imagine like a haunted house. But back in the 90s, of course, everything was hardcore back then. They didn't care about hurting kids.
That's true.
Yeah, that's before they had lawsuits. Well, after the story is said, Josh doesn't believe it because then he wants to get in a tickle fight with a prepubescent girl, who then puts a trash can in his face. He keeps talking more shit. Then they finally flash to a scene where they're outside the spook house again. Now, I'm assuming these kids live pretty close here, because they're at Playland again, just maybe the next night, maybe a few days later. And then we see Josh later on in the episode run or walk to Playland. So it's apparently very accessible.
It's a dare now.
Okay,
right?
So Josh still denies it. As always, we wonder why some of these kids are friends. I mean, it seems like they don't get along for a good portion of this episode, so I'm wondering why they hang out with them.
That seems to be the going trend for Are You Afraid of the Dark Season 1.
Oh, yes, especially the next episode, because I'll make a lot of comparisons in that one. Well, we still play a badass when Ouija dares him to go in alone. Then we flash at them to make sure he goes in.
All the way through.
Yeah, he says to come back with a little souvenir. Zebo's nose. Now, how do they know the nose actually came off? Because of some of these haunted houses, they like glued on or prosthetic. And that nose is probably not the original either. If that nose was there since the 1920s, this Playland is up its budget a little bit for some renovations.
Yeah, foam deteriorates pretty well.
Oh, yeah. The bet is that if he comes out with the nose, Ouija has to wear it to school for a week. Now, I thought of this as a kid, actually. If he wore it to school for a week, wouldn't like the out of bed say something about the dress code or something like that? Say stop being a class clown?
Oh, probably not back then. I mean, it's all uniforms now, but I mean,
I don't know. I remember people getting on kids for like wearing hats in school and headbands and certain things.
Well, I mean, I guess they worked it out with the principal. Okay, so Josh accepts the deal and makes his way back into the spook house and is greeted by the carny, goes in, starts seeing the funhouse mirrors, and then that guy was a little freakier than the dummy, and he was only there for like 20 seconds.
So admit it, that clown is fucking scary looking even nowadays.
Well, here's the problem. They put too much props on him. Okay, so he's a clown, he's got a cigar, and he's also holding a bag of money.
That's true. It has a lot of props. Now, I was wondering if Aaron Tager was playing that, because he's credited as playing the Carney and Zebo. He's probably doing the voice of Zebo, but is that Zebo as well?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be, because how many clowns smoking cigars, carrying money, dressed the exact same do we have here?
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's what Zebo did look like back in the day. I can't remember if he looks the same as that on the newspaper. Did he look like the same on the newspaper clipping that they had?
It's
a little similar.
Yeah.
But Dab is a fucked up clown for back then. They didn't play it out back in the 20s.
So as he's making his way through the spook house, he smells cigars, and there's like a trap. It's like a secret door in the hallway, and he's transported into a room with a bunch of doors, and Dr. Vink. I mean, he's not a doctor this time. He's Carney Vink, and he does one of his little rhymes. Pick the right door.
You'll go free.
Yeah, pick the wrong door, and there he'll be. See, I remember shit. So,
but you start remembering more the more you watch these episodes, right?
Right. So he eventually, he actually finds the right door first, but if he leaves and he doesn't have the nose, they're not going to believe him anyway, so he has to actually get the nose.
Well, the first door he picks is door number 5. It has some lame-ass Halloween decoration of a skull going back forward. I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, what the hell is this? This looks stupid. But I think that was the intention.
Right.
Yeah, door number 4 is the safe exit. And I'll get in these numbers and what they mean later on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I dig into this very analytically.
Well, I mean, I guess 6 would be the mark of the beast. I'm going to go ahead and go with that.
Oh, yeah. Door number 6 is obviously Zebo, because we saw that with the 2 other people in the spook house at the intro of the episode. And Josh looks terrified. Yeah, this clown's fucking scary. I hate this clown. It's like 7 feet tall, really big. So he goes to grab the nose and comes at him a little bit. Then as he's leaving, he gives the middle finger because the nose is on his finger.
Notice that.
Yeah, very good, Nickelodeon.
Put nice flip off on my paper here.
Well, then the camera zooms into under the door, and I'm assuming this is cigar smoke, because he smelled cigars earlier. So the ghost of Zebo's clown is smoking cigars.
Under the door?
Yeah.
So he's blowing smoke under the door?
Okay, then we're transported back to the Midnight Society. I think Eric says he has to take a crap. Did you hear that line?
I got a cramp. I don't think so.
He says he has a cramp.
Oh, I thought he said he has a crap.
It would be way better for, a preteen to be shitting in the woods.
Well, they had to at some point. There's no porta potties at the campfire. Although it could be like a CLO problem child where he pisses on the fire to put it out.
I've done that with Surge.
A kid asked what happened at that point, and Betty Ann says, at that point, Josh was uncontrollable. We're put back in the episode, and Ouija has the nose on, which looks a lot bigger than it was on Zebo. Catch up on that?
You did say he was 7 foot tall and wide.
Ouija gets annoyed, throws the nose. Ouija and his sister go inside. Josh goes to try to retrieve the nose and starts to smell cigars out of nowhere.
Okay. I do have something for that. I don't know if you caught it. All right. For a foam nose, how the hell?
Yeah, it goes like 20 feet.
Yeah, it goes 20 feet and around the corner.
Yeah, well, that's only like 1/10 of what's wrong with this scene here. I mean, how will a cigar smoke travel outside? It looks a little windy that day as well. And he starts to hear some wind chimes, or what was that happening there? It was some type of creepy thing.
I thought it was like bushes.
Yeah, well, the bushes are moving because of the wind. He goes around the corner. He doesn't see anything. Yeah, nothing's there. He goes to find the news. He leaves, and then it pans to another shot of the other side of the house, and we see what's assumed to be cigar smoke coming from the side of the house again. So apparently, there's like a clown ghost walking around in broad daylight in this Canadian suburb.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody had surveillance cameras anything back then.
No, ghost clowns.
These ghost clowns. At that point, we are transported to Josh returning home alone at night. His parents are out at the theater. He puts something in the microwave and heats it up. Then he hears a door open. He drops the pudding he was for just putting his finger in there to test out on the floor. Goes to open the closet with a baseball bat, but there's nothing in there. He gets a call from Ouija, who apologizes. And Josh says it's giving him a hard time. This is the only part of the friendship I actually see here, by the way, in this episode.
Wait, he dropped the pudding?
Josh drops the pudding on the floor. He was getting the pudding while he was heating up that spaghetti.
Why? Okay, so yeah, she did say it was spaghetti, but that shit looks like meatloaf.
It looked like shit, actually.
I always
heat it up.
I always thought, even watching it, now, I thought he was heating up the pudding, and then
the pudding definitely goes on the floor because that becomes a little plot point later on.
Right. But if she said spaghetti and then he has meatloaf, then Zebo was doing more than just
Oh, Zebo's about to fuck shit up at this house, definitely. So during the phone conversation, yes, Ouija apologizes. Josh says no problem. He's giving him a hard time. Says he only has to wear it to school for one day. Then they hang up the phone. Phone rings again, and it's Zebo.
I mean, you hear "give it back," but I mean,
how does Zebo get this number?
You can't. All right, so later on, he calls Luigi back and tells him, was that you or whatever? And he's like, he hears someone pick up the other line. Apparently, Josh has two phones in his house, and Luigi only has one. But if Zebo called him, you can't call your own home number. So if he was already in the house, he can't call him.
That's a good point. But I think Zebo was actually playing as Zach Morris and has a cell phone before everybody else does.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Or a plot twist. This is getting really deep. Next episode is Lola Ghost. So the plot there is about a house that's abandoned. Maybe there's a universe here where Zebo owns the house next door that's haunted, and it's calling from that line. Maybe I get too deep with this. This is early 1990s Nickelodeon show for kids. But Josh starts to get freaked out. He starts frantically taking out silverware. Stuff's burning in the microwave. He opens up, and it's cigars. Now, this Zebo guy is a sneaky son of a bitch. I mean, he had time to open the microwave, put cigars in there, put the reheat on.
Yeah, replace the spaghetti with meatloaf. Yeah, you're right. He's crazy.
This guy, yeah. So rather than calling 911 when he runs upstairs, he calls Ouija.
Well, yeah. Who else are you gonna call?
Yeah, 911.
No,
he's got a killer clown in his damn house.
Yeah, but his friend has the name of something that can, connect to the other world.
Well, he asks him if he just called and pretended to be Zebo and admits that he's scared. That's when Zebo interrupts and says if he doesn't give it back, he's going to come up and get it. He runs to lock the door. Now, Ben, what the fuck shit is this? Honestly, were they trying to intentionally traumatize an entire generation of people? This scene right here honestly made me afraid to fucking look outside at night because I thought a clown was going to come outside my house.
Look, I can speak for this family. We didn't have deadbolts on our bedroom doors. So I think he had more problems in that family than he was willing to admit.
Well, at least it wasn't locked from the outside, you know what I mean? Like the episode of Dexter. Well, apparently Zebo cared about his safety because when Josh goes outside, there's a big inflatable dragon out there waiting for him.
Conveniently placed for him to jump safely onto it.
Oh, yeah. But he's running out there off the nose, apparently.
Come on.
Come on.
Hello?
Ouija, this is Josh.
Josh, slow down.
Tell me the truth. Did you call my house before and pretend you were Zebo?
Whoa, what's the matter, Josh? You sound kind of scared.
I'm not. Yeah, okay. I'm scared. I was scared on the ride, and I'm really scared now. Was that you?
Give me a break. Why would I...
What was that? Is that you, Cassie? Put down the phone.
Josh, we only have one phone. It's gotta be at your house.
If you don't give it back, I'll come up and get it.
He got off the line with Ouija. Why doesn't Ouija call the police knowing he's like, who the fuck is this person his whole line
Because
here?
Josh is a dick.
Or just apologize. They had a friendly bit, but I have to figure at least care about.
That doesn't excuse him making cheesy chicken dumb punchlines all damn episode.
Which dumb punchline?
Let's see, calling him chicken and then saying something smells foul. Like, I mean, those punchlines were lost on me as a child. I'll tell you that much.
Not kind of got him. It was more common back then for people to call people chicken. I don't really hear people do that too often anymore. Especially after Back to the Future, because that was like really big in that movie.
Called him a phoebe. Any type of Ebes on this episode, like on this season, or this,
Now,
show in general. Phoebe, dweeb.
yeah, well, I get to that in the next episode, actually, because the girl calls someone a Zeeb. It says, don't be a Zeeb. And that's actually a reference to this episode with Zebo. I thought at first it may be some type of Canadian slang we don't know about.
I looked at what a phoebe was, and it's just like a dumb person.
I looked up Zeeb on Urban Dictionary, and it actually references Are You Afraid of the Dark? So that's where that came from, but I don't really hear that too often anymore. Yeah. So after this scene, apparently Playland has absolutely zero security.
Yes.
Because Josh just runs in there out of nowhere.
There's not even a fence.
Yeah, and the door is wide open, no locks on there. There's some lighting, though, even though the machines are off.
Yes, the convenient place.
Yeah, he's found by a flashlight. Yeah, you would think that this place has some type of security cameras, at least, also.
Yeah, especially since they've been robbed before.
Yeah, long ago. Well, he gets a little nervous at first, tries to escape, the door won't open, but 6 opens with a little scary strobe light happening. Now, Ben, this is the 3rd time we've seen this door open. First was the intro with the 2 girls, 2 was with Josh going in for the first time, and now this time. So 666. See where we're going with this now?
Very well.
Yeah, Mark the Beast. Is it a coincidence? Or do you think they intentionally did that?
No, I mean,
I didn't realize that, by the way, until I watched it last night. And that was like seriously the 20th time I've seen this episode.
Oh, man.
Apparently, Josh had time once he ran out of his house scared to stop at the convenience store and
buy cigars.
Yeah, buy cigars everywhere. And I realized that as a kid, like, where the hell did they get cigars from?
Yeah, I mean, you could have easily, explained it away with like, oh, I took my dad's cigars, or like something like that. Like, oh, well, look what I brought you. A peace offering, cigars. You're like 12. Where the fuck did you get them?
Yeah, I remember back in the day we used to steal them from parents who smoked. That was usually how you got cigarettes, unless you had like a teenage cousin who would buy them for you. But I figured that'd be the last thing on his mind. He'd just go there and return the damn nose.
Yeah.
Well, after the nose is turned and he exits, Zebo appears out there again. So Zebo does have the ability to open that door. We get an outside view where the Carney appears, smoking a cigar. And Carney was there the whole time. So maybe the Carney never leaves. The Midnight Society does discuss this. Whether the Carney was the ghost of Zebo.
I don't put much stock in that one.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it's the ghost of Zebo, because if that's the case, what the fuck was that thing in the mirror room?
All right, here's the theory I have now. The Carney is an inside accomplice of the original robbery.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I want to dive more deeply into this, but unfortunately I should probably wrap up this episode shortly because I have a very good line, I realized. Now here's another fun piece of trivia here. Me and Ben grew up near Ocean City, Maryland, and in the 90s, there was a haunted house on the boardwalk that burnt down called Morbid Manor. Do you remember this, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cause of the fire was actually never publicized. The fire wasn't put out because they turned the sprinkler system off during the off season. There's now a Morbid Manor Ducks edition there right now. I haven't been in that one. I don't remember going in the original one. We always went on Trimper for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that original one was walkthrough. Because have you been through a walkthrough haunted house before?
I mean, it's been some time. We got bad hearts. I jump scares hurt me, like, physically.
Yeah, I used to be really good with roller coasters, not so much anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those don't bother me, but any type of sudden, like, jump scares, hate them.
Yeah, I've only been to one walking through haunted house. It's basically live, or actually two, because one was the Eastern Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. And it's just got a bunch of people like jumping out of shit all the time with live actors.
I mean, when it comes to something that's supposed to be legitimately haunted, like an insane asylum or like, you know, like Gettysburg. Gettysburg does a great job because they don't do the jump scare stuff. They don't have to. Just leaving you with your own mind in the dark is scarier than anything they can ever throw at you.
Yeah, jump scares are kind of like the cheap thrills at this point.
Right.
I hate them. I don't like horror movies to have them. I heard that new movie It has a lot of them. So that's why I'm a little apprehensive. I'm supposed to see it tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So in a few weeks, I'll give you my little synopsis of it. Me and Ben record 2 episodes at a time, by the way. Now, going back to the episode, Ben, I had this great idea after watching this last night again. What happened back at Josh's house? Because when his parents are assumed to go there while he's at Playland returning the news. So they immediately come to this house. They see a clown footprint putting on the kitchen. They see a bunch of silverware out. They're probably going to see a blue. They're probably going to see a dragon. They're like, what the fuck is in my house? Are they going to call the police and see what's happening with their kid? Their kid's missing and there's all this shit like a wolf of clown around their house.
I mean, that's true. And when was... I mean, where is this supposed to take place?
It's soon to be Canada.
Okay. Well, I mean, clearly with the bedroom.
Yeah, they're playing hockey now.
Yeah.
If you're sorry, how do you say that? Sorry, I can't say their accent right. It's like with an A involved.
I'm not sure.
Okay, you hear it on. You can't do that on television because every single one of those kids were Canadian.
They make good kid shows.
Yeah, back at the Midnight Society, Eric scares Kristen with a clown mask. And Gary does not say he declares the Midnight Society closed. He just says meeting adjourned. Then we get the outro credits with that sick fucking clown again. Like, I need to see that thing again. It's going to be nightmares. Zebu does make a return in a future episode called The Tale of the Crimson Clown in the form of a video game. See, he's referenced in the series. He's one of the most iconic characters of this. Now, that video game is called Zebu's Big House, and I'm surprised that no, like, homebrew people have made, like, the video game.
Ever made it?
Yeah, you should get on that, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you find the right person, they would do that. Like a lot of the ROM hacks now. Someone made Resident Evil, like the first one, for regular Nintendo when it came out on PlayStation.
No, I'm pretty sure if we look hard enough, we can't find this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, again, Ben, I want to go back to the terrified thing. Why is this episode not scary as an adult to you?
Because nowadays things that were scary then, we've made a movie. You know, we've made 2. So now when we watch stuff like this, we're picking it apart. We're boom mic.
Yeah, yeah. The more experience you get with stuff, especially. Well, the thing is, horror has progressed significantly since the early '90s because we had the torture porn era. We had like the late '90s, early 2000s thing of the screams and the saws and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
However, I think if this episode came out on a kids show nowadays, it would still be scary to children.
Oh, I'm sure, because it's...
Yeah. I mean, well, the clown coming in your fucking house about to kill you to get their fucking nose back. I mean, who wants to see a show that has somebody terrifying a child alone.
He was a robber, not a killer. He would steal the silverware. Maybe mom's like spare purse.
See, I'm still traumatized by that killer clown shit from A Current Affair, and like Pogo the Clown and stuff. Well, after all is said and done, this is, again, one of the best episodes of the series. It's the highest ranked on IMDb.com. It's definitely the scariest, I think.
I don't know. I seem to remember some that were, I wouldn't say like scarier, but I was saying top 3.
Yeah, there are some with a little better writing
and more, like, I mean, nothing about this one was like grotesque or like gory or anything like that. It was all on, your imagination. That's what they feed off of. Is, like I said,
well, this is back in the 90s when kids actually had an imagination. They didn't have
put you
of everything.
Put you in a dark room, make some noises, and your mind will do the rest.
That's true. Well, I should mention this also. We have a special guest in the studio. We have Ben's fiance Ashley here. And Ashley watched the show growing up as well, so I'm going to have her sitting in for a minute here with me. So, Ashley, what's your history with the show?
I watched it probably in the early to mid-90s growing up. I'd say probably my, 7 to 11 ages.
Okay, the show aired 1991, or 1990 original run, but was aired first in America in 1992. And then the first run ended about 1995, 1996. So you watched it in the original run?
I would say so, yeah.
How memorable was this episode?
I do feel like I'd seen it. I recognize the barbershop guy, I'd say, the most, and the clown.
All right, did it scare you as a child?
I'd say it definitely creeped me out. It didn't give me, the fear of clowns or anything like that.
What about nowadays?
Now I don't worry about clowns much, but... So one of the questions I had when watching it, when this psycho clown broke into his house to terrify him into giving him his nose back, I wondered why he felt the need to jump out the window and run back to the fun house to take it to him if he was already there.
Maybe he didn't want to seize you, though, in person.
Or maybe he needed to go get the cigars to offer as a peace offering.
Yeah, I also wonder, though, when the clown's in his house, is it the Zebo we saw during the mirror scene, or is it the giant Zebo? Because the giant Zebo is actually gone when the door opens for the last time. You just see the fog and the strobe light. So maybe it is the 7-foot giant clown that fucking terrorized me.
That's true. And then wouldn't there have been even more significant damage?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Plus, I mean, wouldn't you notice, a 7-foot clown that's, really big, walking through your house and stuff?
And what about
earlier?
the neighbors?
No, there's no neighborhood watch back then at all. As we saw...
But everybody has a nosy
Or
neighbor.
just like in episode 4, the Twisted Claw, these kids are trick-or-treating, by themselves out in the middle of nowhere with no other trick-or-treaters around, no flashlights or anything.
I don't know how that happens.
Yeah. Okay, and then you have a 10-year-old, right?
I do. He's scared of clowns.
Now, did you watch this episode with him?
No.
Okay, would he like it or be completely terrified of it?
I think it would scare the crap out of him.
Okay. I do want to have him on the show at some point in time, by the way.
Right.
Just because me and Ben watched this around that age group, and I'm curious nowadays having a kid that age watch this and see what they think.
Okay. You can use him.
So since he hates clowns, we're going to do the Crimson Clown episode with him.
Perfect.
Because that's the second most terrifying episode. Because Chlorophobia is definitely based on this fucking episode. I like the idea of clowns sneaking up on you, especially.
I don't like anything sneaking up on me, so
That's
that
true.
factor is scary enough.
Well, that's going to end this episode. Next week, we are going to review the classic episode, The Tale of the Lonely Ghost. Because that's how David says it. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review. This is produced by Modulation Studios. You can reach us at modulationstudios@gmail.com.